learnings about social media and all the other things people have talked about today. But have you heard of something called the Vault 7 files? What about the Tor network? If not for one very special moment, I wouldn't have either. All it took was a Discord invite link, and on this messaging platform, I heard the following. I hacked into the Pentagon. These words came from a child. But how exactly did I get to this point? A few years ago, when I was just 10 years old, I found myself plunged headfirst into a side of the internet that's never talked about. It wasn't social media, and it wasn't drug deals on the dark web. Instead, it was a no man's land, inhabited by tens of thousands of cybercriminals, laying dormant with the power to stop the whole world. In this separate digital universe, we were always told curiosity kills the cat. But does it? In my case, this was far more complicated. As children, we're always told to explore and discover. But as we get older, priorities change. Explore and discover becomes study, and learn becomes work. And our previously colorful and imaginative lives begin to take a new shape. Without even realizing, we close these doors we had previously opened and forget all the opportunities that came from them. We lose these attributes we'd gained in an attempt to better fit and serve this society. Or at least, most of us do. But sometimes, there are moments that help us realize something, to find a new way. For some, it's moving to a new city. For others, it's a new book. For me, it was a Discord invite link and a bit of curiosity. Now, if there's one thing I'm bad at, it's keeping my head down. Unfortunately for my teachers, I was never the kind of kid who could ignore something interesting and do as I was told. See, I never stopped exploring. And when I saw something interesting online, like a Discord invite link, for example, I couldn't just not click. So, of course, I pressed it. And so began the greatest journey of my life. I tried to learn what I could, and I did. But I didn't do it on my own. I had the best teacher imaginable, curiosity. Because curiosity gave me something that school or studying never could, perspective. And with this perspective, I found the very thing that's led me to this moment, a new world. Albert Einstein once said, "I have no special talents. I'm only passionately curious." Well, 97% of kids, aged 3 to 18, have access to the internet. 97%, with most spending hours of their lives consumed by the vast jungles of content. And like it or not, that is not a cycle that's easy to escape from. So I'd argue that although I might not have chosen the best way out, those years that I spent hacking and learning were used much better than if I never would have been allowed to explore in the first place. Now, to you, it might appear as though I'm just excusing my inattention as interest. But if not for this, I never would have gotten to where I am today. I never would have known about this other world. This world that gave a 10-year-old the power to do things that had very real-world consequences. To take down websites, to dox people, to ruin lives. But I'm not here to condemn them. In fact, I'm about to do the opposite. Now, there's no need for alarm. I'm not here to recruit people into the hacking world or encourage any kids to follow in my footsteps, but rather to give you all a brief glimpse into this world that usually remains so segregated. A peek through the window into a world that so many have dreaded and judged for so long. Yes, I was a hacker, but I learned more in those few years than school could have ever taught me. Now, the reason I'm telling you all this is not just to drag down my teachers, but to give you all something, just a bit more perspective. Because by being curious, I learned that there's a lot more to the internet than just scrolling on social media. But luckily for you all, you don't need to hack into the Pentagon to be curious. All you need is something far more simple, and yet, in some ways, so much more complicated. All you need is an open mind. But why does this even matter? Well, perspective is important to not limit yourself to what's black and white, to see the internet in a new way, with new opportunities that can only be found with curiosity. All of you here today know me now as a hacker. But do you really know who I am? What about the internet? Do you still think you understand it? What about its potential? Have you stopped just for a moment to consider all the opportunities that lie at your fingertips just a tap away? So, is it really all that simple? What if you were me?